Have you ever gotten 8 hours of sleep and wondered, what was the point? I'm more exhausted than last night. And it's so frustrating, right? So here's what's shocking. Nearly 8 out of 10 professionals experience burnout in their current jobs, and 40% are dealing with persistent fatigue right now. So maybe you've tried already everything. You're fine-tuning your sleep, you're taking supplements, and even diving into meditation or therapy. But no matter what you do, your natural energy just won't come back. And you're not alone. And by the end of this, you'll know exactly what's causing it and how to fix it. So the good news is there's a scientific reason why this happens, and more importantly, a proven roadmap to fix it. So recovery isn't magic, but it's absolutely possible with the right systematic approach. Now, my name is Bardoukas. I'm a health coach and holistic psychologist. And for years, I've worked with high-performing men, from CEOs to entrepreneurs, surgeons, or attorneys, to beat burnout, chronic fatigue, and even long COVID. So stick around, because I'm breaking down the 4 pillars of recovery that have helped my clients rebuild their energy, focus, and performance, and without sacrificing what matters most to them. So perhaps you've already consulted multiple doctors and therapists, only to hear things like, your blood work looks normal. It's all in your head. Or worse, you're just getting old, get used to it. Yet despite all these efforts, you're still battling with fatigue, brain fog, and productivity levels that feel like a shadow of what they used to be. And in a world where split-second decisions can make or break deals, save lives, or win cases, this isn't just inconvenient, it's career-threatening. So think back to a time when you were operating at your peak. You were energized, you were focused, you were unstoppable. And that's your natural state. But burnout and chronic fatigue are the opposite. Even simple tasks now feel very overwhelming often. For driven professionals like you, this isn't just frustrating, it is actually isolating. You're used to being the go-to problem solver, a very reliable partner, and a decisive leader. And the unspoken expectation is to always perform at your peak. And that often forces you to hide your struggles behind a mask, pretending everything's fine, while you're silently wondering, will I ever get back to the person I used to be? And the good news is, there's definitely a way out, and it all comes down to the 4 pillars of recovery. Identifying the energy drains, rebuilding resilience, activating recovery triggers, and understanding the healing cycle. So, pillar number 1, identifying energy drains. So when it comes to recovery, the first step is identifying your personal energy drains. Imagine trying to fill a bucket riddled with holes. It doesn't matter how much effort you put into pouring water. It will never fill up until you patch those holes. And the same goes for your energy. So let me share another example. I once spoke with a client who was feeling exhausted all the time, despite eating very healthy and sleeping well. And after running some functional blood tests, we discovered his biggest energy drains were very high cortisol levels from chronic stress and a low-grade bacterial gut infection he didn't even know he had. So once we addressed those strategically with very tailored stress management techniques and targeted gut health support, his energy levels started improving dramatically within a few weeks. Energy drains are everywhere in our modern world. On the physical side, you have relentless stress of back-to-back meetings, endless notifications, or poor indoor air and light quality from spending long hours in artificially lit offices. Then there are hidden internal stressors like nutrient deficiencies, chronic inflammation, or gut imbalances you might not even realize they're working against you right now. But what's often overlooked are the psychological drains. Things like perfectionism, overthinking, or constantly battling an overly critical inner voice. And these mental habits, they're exhausting. And many high achievers tend to double down on pushing harder instead of pausing to reflect. And addressing these drains requires both strategy and action. So for physical drains, it might mean improving your workspace environment, optimizing lighting, or addressing nutrient gaps through personalized nutrition. For psychological drains, it's about setting boundaries to limit unnecessary stresses, delegating more effectively, and challenging unproductive thought patterns through reframing techniques. And once you identify and address these energy drains systemically, recovery stops feeling impossible. It's like finding the leak in a boat. You're no longer constantly bailing out water, and you can finally focus on moving forward. Pillar number 2, rebuilding resilience. So let's say you've patched the leaks, but you still don't feel as energetic and as sharp as you remember. So that's where the second pillar comes in, rebuilding resilience. Think of resilience more like a muscle, and it gets stronger the more you train it, but only if you do it the right way. So like a muscle, resilience grows through strategic stress and recovery, not through relentless overtraining. I remember one particularly very motivated client who came to me super exhausted, but still pushing himself with intense daily sauna sessions, thinking more of the good would speed up his recovery. But his body wasn't ready, and his intense approach was doing more harm than good. So what we did, we shifted to a more gentle strategy, starting with short nature walks, basic breath work, and carefully calibrated challenges. And once he embraced this shift, his energy and clarity steadily improved, and he felt more in control of his personal recovery. So rebuilding resilience is not about resting more. It's about reconditioning your system. So think of it more like rehabilitation after a physical injury. You need the right intensity at the right time. Gentle, restorative activities like yoga, tai chi or qigong, they don't just rebuild the body, they recalibrate your nervous system to stay more calm and focused under pressure. The key is understanding that resilience isn't built through intensity, but through consistency and precision. So what you can do is start with simple practices, like 5 to 10 minutes of breathwork daily to lower stress, then gradually introduce restorative exercises as your capacity grows. And don't forget, mindset plays a crucial role here. Perfectionism and self-criticism, they often lead to overexertion, which slows down recovery. So reframe these patterns with self-compassion and focus on more incremental progress. Just like gradually adding weight when training your body. This is not about doing less. It's about doing things smarter. It's like upgrading your operating system, stronger and more adaptable and ready to handle challenges without burning out. Resilience training builds both strength and flexibility in your nervous system, creating a foundation for more sustainable and peak performance. Pillar number 3, recovery triggers. So the third pillar focuses on specific triggers that jumpstart your recovery. And most people think recovery just happens naturally when you rest. But that's like expecting a car to repair itself just because you parked it. Your body needs the right signals to shift from survival mode into deep recovery. And if you are a type A, I'll sleep when I'm dead kind of guy, this might feel very counterintuitive at first. And these triggers are not random wellness trends. They're strategic interventions backed by science. So think of them as activation codes that tell your body, now it's time to repair and recharge. Recovery triggers often revolve around the nervous system. A 3-minute cold shower isn't just an exercise in willpower. It activates a cascade of repair mechanisms in your body. So similarly, specific breathing patterns can shift your nervous system from fight or flight to more recovery mode in minutes. Even something as simple as shifting your eyes from focused vision to peripheral vision sends a signal to calm and reset. So recovery happens in layers. So you start with foundational triggers, like optimizing your sleep hygiene or resetting your circadian rhythm. And then as your system strengthens, you can layer in advanced practices like cold exposure, heat exposure, breath work, and mindfulness techniques. It's like planting a garden. You prepare the soil first before you're planting seeds or you're adding nutrients. Each step builds on the last, creating the ideal conditions for growth and repair. So the more recovery triggers you integrate into your day, the faster and deeper your healing becomes. But here's the catch. Recovery isn't one size fits all. So what works wonders for one person might stall progress for someone else. So this is why strategic experimentation is often essential. You can start simple. Spend time in nature to lower your cortisol. Practice gratitude to boost mental resilience, or engage in light restorative movement like walking or stretching. Another good idea is to keep a recovery journal to track what works best for you and gradually build a routine around the triggers that consistently improve your energy and your focus. And when recovery becomes a deliberate, personalized process, you will find yourself shifting more effortlessly out of burnout and back into the energy and the performance that you've been missing. Pillar number 4, Embracing the healing cycle. So finally, we come to the healing cycle. Think of recovery like you're riding a wave. It has a natural rhythm, building momentum as it carries you forward, but only if you work with it instead of against it. Recovery is not a straight line. It's a rhythm with distinct phases, and each phase has a specific purpose. So the first phase is the struggle phase. This is where most men give up because it's very, very uncomfortable. Your symptoms might even get worse, and it can feel like nothing is working. But this is just your body recalibrating, like the effort it takes to catch the wave before you find your balance. And as you move through the struggle, you enter the so-called release phase. This is when your system begins to shift out of stress mode. You might notice your sleep is improving a little bit, or that constant sense of urgency starting to fade. Small wins appear. Maybe you're not reaching for coffee every afternoon, or you wake up feeling just a little bit clearer in the morning. And from there, recovery starts to take a hold. This is where things really begin to click. Your energy comes back, your brain fog lifts, and you start feeling more like yourself again. You notice you're more generous with people, and your creativity returns in ways you didn't realize you'd lost. But here's the thing, recovery is not over yet. The final phase is called integration. This is where your temporary improvements become permanent. It's really about solidifying the habits and the strategies that got you here, like consistently prioritizing sleep, managing your stress, and setting boundaries so you don't fall back into your old patterns. When you skip or you rush these phases, that's when you get stuck in the cycle of burnout, always making a little bit of progress, but never fully recovering. Think of it like 2 steps forward, 1 step back. But when you respect the rhythm of the healing cycle and ride each wave as it comes, true recovery becomes not just possible, but sustainable. Conclusion. By understanding and applying these 4 pillars, identifying energy drains, rebuilding resilience, activating recovery, and embracing the healing cycle, you can take back control of your energy, your focus, and ultimately your performance. And this is just the beginning. In upcoming videos, I'll break down each pillar with more actionable strategies you can start using right away. So recovery is not about quick fixes or simply pushing through. It's about creating sustainable foundation for lasting energy and peak performance. Imagine waking up with the energy to dominate your workday, and you still have enough left to fully show up for the people and passions that matter most. So that's what this channel is all about, helping you thrive at work and in life. And if this resonates with you, make sure to hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next steps in your recovery and optimization journey. The path to peak performance and recovery is simpler than you think, with the right system and the right support. And you've got this. And I'll see you in the next video.